All right, in today's news, again, new entry requirements are criticized for being too expensive and not making that much sense. Meanwhile, Pattaya Walking Street wants to shape itself up for the kids, and over 100 police officers failed to catch a handful of drug suspects for the fourth time. All this is coming up in today's program. You're watching Thailand News Today, bringing you the top headlines in Thailand and beyond. And in today's news, following the CCSA's decision yesterday to resume test and go from February the 1st, with some changes, tourism operators are urging the government to make PCR testing more affordable. The revamped Test and Go entry scheme now requires overseas arrivals to stay at an approved hotel on day 1 and again on day 5 of their stay, and to take a PCR test on each day. They must Netflix and chill in their rooms after each test until they receive a negative result. However, what has many people scratching their heads is the fact that in between both tests, people are free to wander wherever they like. Test and Go does not require travelers to book the same hotel for days 1 and 5, or even to stay in the same province. For example, tourists can arrive in Bangkok on day 1 and by day 5 be in Chiang Mai for their second test and mandatory hotel stay. What is also not known is whether the government will consider infections detected on day 5 as imported. The new requirements have tourism operators concerned that tourists will be put off by the additional costs, especially the second PCR test. Rashapon Poonsawadi from the Tourism Association of Got Samui says PCR tests on the island cost 2,200 baht. He wants the price cut to 1,500 baht, as otherwise it could be a deterrent for people traveling on a budget. Meanwhile, Marisa Sukoson Nunpakdi from the Thai Hotels Association says officials need to design a system for the new testing requirements prior to Test and Go resuming. She suggests that the second test should be dispensed with once the COVID situation improves. Phuket officials have responded less than enthusiastically to a suggestion that infected asymptomatic tourists be allowed to travel via a sealed route. The province's Deputy Governor Pishet Panapong believes infected tourists should stay put in their hotel rooms. However, there may be some leeway in that asymptomatic tourists could travel to a quiet beach via a sealed route, for example, but he says the arrangement would need close monitoring lest they wander off. Meanwhile, the issue of tourists not wearing face masks has raised its exposed head yet again. Pishet says many foreign tourists are violating the mask mandate, and he has vowed to take action against them. In other news, Phuket has kicked off the administration of booster doses to around 3,000 migrant workers in the fisheries sector, with healthcare workers administering the AstraZeneca vaccine at Phuket Fishing Pier. The island has around 67,000 migrant workers across various sectors. The Thai Prime Minister says he has no plans to call an early election or to reshuffle his cabinet after 21 of his MPs were pushed out earlier this week. Prayut Chan-o-cha has also distanced himself from the ouster of Thamarat Phrompao and 20 other MPs who have been accused of sowing division within the ranks of the ruling Palang Pracharat Party. The Prime Minister says their dismissal was an internal party affair and that the party was probably trying to restore a sense of normalcy. In his signature jarring syntax, the PM said, quote, "I'm not saying who is good or bad. Let their actions speak for themselves. The people will decide at the next election. I insist that I have no intention to change the cabinet lineup or dissolve the House. The law on the new election system is not ready. Don't mix them up." The dismissal of Thamarat and the other MPs means they now have 30 days to find a new party or lose their MP status. Their removal follows Thamarat's sacking from cabinet a few months ago, accused of trying to orchestrate the removal of the PM in a no-confidence debate last year. According to media reports, 8 small coalition parties are considering an alliance with Thamarat. However, leader of the New Democracy Party, Suratin Pichan, says things are only at the discussion stage at the moment and things should become clear next week. Meanwhile, Pheu Cha Thai Party has also denied suggestions that his party might join Thamarat, insisting that 5 parties will remain aligned with the ruling coalition and continue to support the PM. And when asked if the ruling party leader and Deputy PM Prawit Wongsuwan had any comments to make on the latest developments, the Prime Minister responded, saying love and best wishes and mutual respect.
Hi, Tim from the Thaiger. Sean here from 5 Star Marine. Another perfect day. Now, when we go on one of your boats, Sean, what is included in the price?
Okay, so with the boat, we're going to give you a captain crew English-speaking guide, and that's one of the most important parts of our inclusions because his job for the day is to make sure he gets you where you want to go with the least amount of people out there. On top of that, we've got everything that you need for the day: water, soft drink, fresh fruit, masks, snorkels, fins, life jackets, and most importantly, insurance as well.
Now, and there's obviously a lot of questions people are going to have. Can I do this? Can I do that? And you guys at least know the layout of the land at the moment.
Look, in terms of flexibility, we really want to be able to give you exactly what you want. And as it comes to rules that the government sets, you know, we're on top of that all day, every day. We have a full-time compliance officer in our business, and his job is to study these orders and translate them for us.
I dare say if we head out to some of the islands at the moment, you might get out there and have the whole island to yourself.
In fact, I got some boats out there right now, and they're messaging back saying they're the only people sitting there in Pillay Lagoon and even the newly reopened Maya Bay.
Ah, yes, Maya Bay. We've been having plenty of interest about that. So Phuket is open, the sandbox is open. There are other sandboxes open as well now. Thailand is still open if you want to or you need to come back. And if you want to go out to one of the islands, you know who to contact.
Renovations to Pattaya's famous walking street are apparently 80% complete. And according to the city mayor, the project aims to clean up the red light street and draw in tourists of all ages. Oh my! Mayor Sontaya Kunpluem told Thai media that overhead electric and communication wires have been moved to the underground to make the street appear more beautiful and orderly. The business owners and artists will be invited to paint and design the footpath and road in the walking street area to offer an iconic look. The street was often waterlogged during the rainy season, so drainage pipes are now being improved. Pattaya officials want to draw in visitors to the street both day and night. Officials are now in the design process for a retractable roof that would cover the street, allowing people to visit the street any time of the day as well as during the rainy season. The construction is expected to start in 2023. Sontaya also added that a rumor about tearing down the street is not true. It is under construction and renovation. The business owners of Pattaya Walking Street are assured that their businesses will be recovered after the COVID restrictions are lifted. So, what do you think? Would you take your family to the revamped walking street, or is it just too risky to get recognized by a former bar girl? Let us know in the comments. Following the naming of Indonesia's new capital by President Joko Widodo to replace sinking Jakarta, candidate for Bangkok's governor position, Suchachawi Suwansawat, wrote on his Facebook page that he had no plans to relocate the country's capital due to the decades-long flooding that has hit Bangkok. And, believe it or not, Bangkok is also sinking. Let's not hope not metaphorically as well. The Bangkok gubernatorial elections are likely to take place this year. However, the Election Commission has yet to declare the specific date owing to the COVID outbreak and political protests across the capital. Suchachawi, who is the former president of King Mongkut's Institute of Technology in Lat Krabang, is running for Bangkok governor under the Democrat Party's banner. In the post, he wrote that the motive had reminded him of the same issue in Bangkok. He claimed the flooding is at the top of his priority list, and it's the reason he decided to run for the governor's position. The incumbent governor, Police General Aswin Kwanmueng, has been in office since October of 2016, although his term is limited to 4 years. After a gunfire exchange with more than 100 police officers, 5 drug suspects reportedly evaded arrest. Apparently, they have been escaping arrest at least 3 times prior. Suspects, including alleged gang leader 41-year-old Pradit Musikasong, are wanted on several charges. Dozens of police officers set up a blockade at a resort in the southern province of Pattaya, but the suspects reportedly quickly drove a car out of the property. Officers were able to catch up, but one of the suspects apparently used an M16 military-grade rifle. Officers fired back and say they believe that one suspect was shot. No officers were injured in the incident. Officers later searched the room at the resort the suspects were staying at and found guns, bullets, amphetamine, and methamphetamine. Police forensic science officers will revisit the place to gather DNA information. CCTV in the area shows the suspects driving in Pattaya headed towards Nakhon Si Thammarat. The police are still searching for them and asked hospitals in the area to report if any patients are seeking treatment for a gunshot wound. And that's all for the report. I will be in the Thaiger studio on Monday for Thailand News Today. Meanwhile, you're not up to date on the Thaiger.